Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to talk about the one and only Mr. Grant Cardone, Mr. 10X himself. 10X your business, 10X your life, 10X your spending, 10X your employees, 10X your dog and your cats. So in this video, I'm going to talk about his real estate investing strategy and why I disagree with it. And there's more than one school of thought when it comes to real estate investing. So I'm going to talk about what he's doing and what I think about it and what's best for you. And I'm recording this video on April 6th, 2020. I'm at like 96 subscribers. So I'm hoping by the time I release this video, I'll be reaching 100. So thank you so much for the support. Thanks for everyone who's subscribed. And if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. Releasing videos every single Friday and sometimes in between if there's any important news regarding real estate and mortgages. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Grant Cardone and watch me demyth his strategy, keep watching. All right, so the first thing that I want to mention is this is not a video bashing Grant Cardone, okay? He is a super successful entrepreneur, amazing marketer, amazing salesperson, and has a shitload of real estate investments. So I'm not bashing him, good for him and all the success that he has had. But this idea of making this video came to me about 6 months ago when a friend of mine sent me a video with Grant Cardone talking about how it's a stupid idea to buy your own house and live in it. So that's when I started doing my research, and I'm open to all ideas. So I said, okay, let me see what he's doing, because I'm a real estate agent and I'm a mortgage loan officer. So I literally help people buy their houses. So instead of just immediately disagreeing with the notion of buying your own house is stupid, I wanted to do a little bit more research and find out more about him and what he's doing. All right, so after I did my investigation on Mr. Grant Cardone, I found out that he only likes to invest in apartment buildings. Doesn't think that you should buy your own house. He thinks that paying for a mortgage in your own house is a stupid idea. And he would much rather rent the house that he lives in versus owning it. So one of the first articles that I came across was, let me show you guys here. So this is an article here on The Real Deal. A look at Grant Cardone's real estate portfolio and how he raised $15 million in 90 minutes at Marlins Park. So I'm going to scroll down here, a little background on him. And one of the things he says is, the American dream of homeownership is dead and everyone is moving to apartments. You got 75 million millennials that don't want to own anything. They wouldn't own their own tennis shoes if they can lease them. Really? Is that right, Grant? Well, I'm a millennial and my girlfriend and I are both millennials. We both plan on buying a house in the next year. We have friends that are social media entrepreneurs, have online businesses, that are doctors and lawyers. And guess what? They want to buy their own house too. When you get to a point where you're going to get engaged, you're going to get married, you're planning on having kids, you have dogs, you can't live in an apartment. So this notion that all millennials want to live in apartments is just not true. And I'm proof of that. And our friends are proof of that as well. Mostly every one of our friends either already owns their own house or is planning on buying their own house very, very soon. Now, I know millennials have kind of taken the steps in getting engaged, getting married, buying houses, pushing it off a little bit more than previous generations. My parents got married when my mom was like 21, and my grandma got married as soon as she turned 18. So yes, it's taking us a little bit longer, in our early 30s, late 20s, early 30s, and getting married, having kids, kind of starting that family a little bit later, but we're still doing it and we still want to buy and own our own houses. So just the fact that millennials don't want to own their houses is just not true. And as far as the quote where he says, if millennials could lease their tennis shoes, they would. Well, have you guys seen the lines outside of the Supreme store? You guys seen those? Okay. I live in LA. Right down here on Fairfax Avenue, right by the high school, there's lines around the block of millennials and Gen Xers standing in line for hours, if not days, and paying hundreds of dollars for tennis shoes. Not leasing them, buying them and owning them. So that's the first myth that I want to debunk. It's just not true. People do want to buy their own houses and live in them. Okay, so that's number one. So now that I've actually, my girlfriend is really amazing marketer. She's incredible. So she has taught me so much when it comes to online marketing. And so when I see someone like a Grant Cardone or any other huge online marketer, they provide great value, they provide great content, they're usually great salespeople. But there's one thing that I noticed, that at the end of every interview, at the end of every pitch, at the end of every whatever they're presenting, there is a sale to be made. There's a sale at the end of every single video. And so what is Grant Cardone selling, right? What's he selling me? I watched that video that my friend Brian sent over to me, and I said, okay, I can tell by the way he's talking about what a bad idea it is to buy your own house. So what's he selling? What's he pitching to us, right? And I found out what it is. Let me show you guys. So if you go to invest.cardonecapital.com, you set up a little profile, and then you have access to Grant Cardone's Cardone Capital offerings, okay? These are apartment buildings that he is trying to raise money to buy. So he is investing in apartment buildings and mostly using other people's money. Again, not a bad thing. If you can raise capital, that's a very, very strong sales characteristic to have. If you can raise money and start a business, good for you. You can buy property, you can buy apartment buildings, you can start a business using someone else's money. Great. So what I found out is what Grant is actually trying to do is he's trying to get you to invest in his company, Cardone Capital, so that he can buy more apartment buildings and you can invest alongside of him. So here, Cardone Equity Fund, number 6 LLC, minimum investment $5,000. Anyone can invest $5,000, right? Targeted cash flow. I think this is the key thing to keep in mind, targeted. We're going to get into that in a second. 6%. 6% cash flow, distributions monthly, fund size $50 million. It's got another one here, minimum investment $100,000, 6% return. These are in different parts of the country. Florida, Panama Beach, Florida. Okay, so this one's in Panama Beach, Florida. Wow, beautiful place. So that's what Grant's selling. He's selling you into his Cardone Capital Fund so he can use your money to buy real estate for himself and you. Okay, so this sounds great. Sounds great, right? You can invest alongside Cardone Capital. He's a super successful dude. You can invest in apartment buildings with him. But what are some of the downsides? So if you don't buy a house for yourself and you give that money to him and he invests, let's look at one of the things that I found out when you invest with Cardone Capital. Here's the downside. Here's the downside with investing with Cardone Capital. They have a no withdrawal policy. So what does that mean? That means you can't take your money out. Whether you invest $5,000 or $100,000 or $1 million, you cannot ever take your money out, okay? So you're stuck. Nothing you can do. You got to write it out. If he sells the property and loses money, you might lose your money, right? It's definitely a possibility. Compare that to if you buy your own house or if you buy your own stocks or any other investment, right? So let's say things are not going well and you want to sell. Guess what? You can list your house and you can sell it and you can get your money back. You can get your down payment back. You can get any appreciation back. If you pay down your loan, you get that back, right? So that's the difference between if you invest with him versus if you buy your own home. Same things goes with if you use that money to buy stocks, okay? If you buy a stock, it goes down a little bit, you can take whatever's left out, okay? So that's the second thing that I want to debunk about investing with Cardone versus buying your own house. So the third thing that I want to talk about is why is Grant so opposed to single family homes? Why is that such a bad idea to, invest in a house, live in it, and then maybe in a year or two down the road, you either rent it out and then you buy another house to live in. And then over the course of 20, 30 years, slowly and steadily, you can build a real estate portfolio. You can have 5 or 10 properties that you own over the course of time. Instead of 10xing everything, you could do a slow build right? You can slowly build your real estate portfolio instead of 10x all the time, right? So that's something that you can do. So why is Grant opposed to that strategy? So let's take a look. So in this same article, he talks about his first real estate investing experience. So I'll never forget it. It was 30 years ago. It was $78,000. I put $3,000 down and bought a house. I thought I was going to be a real estate mogul. I rented it out to Janet and her sister Jill. I don't know who the hell those people are, but anyway, I think I was making about $180 a month. Oh man, I was going to get rich on this. Then they moved out, and about 5 or 6 months after living there, then I realized I was responsible for paying the house. Then I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. It was a single family house in Houston, Texas. I sold that house because I realized something that I did not know. I got my money back, sold the house to a guy who did know what he was doing. I spent the next year studying apartments, which is the only thing that I could focus on, which is buying apartments. So he talks about how he didn't enjoy the fact that his tenant moved out and he had to live there. So he kind of makes it seem like a bad thing. But let's think about that. Let's break that down for a second. So if you buy a house and let's say a couple years later, you buy another house and you rent out your first house, right? You rent it out to tenants. If 6 months goes by or a year goes by, you have a lease and they move, what do? You can find another renter, right? So if someone moves out, you don't necessarily have to go live there. You just find another renter. And with Cardone Capital, they own apartment buildings, right? So what happens when someone moves out of an apartment? You get another tenant. Same thing. There's literally no difference. There's no difference than whether you own a house, you have tenants in there. If they leave, you find new tenants. You invest with Cardone Capital. They own apartment buildings. If someone moves out, they don't sell the apartment building. They just find another tenant. So makes no sense about, the fact that he's kind of making it seem like it's such a negative thing that he had tenants move out of his house. All you do is you find more tenants. Okay, one other thing that I want to mention before I wrap up this video. So a few weeks ago, Cardone, Mr. Grant Cardone, Mr. 10X, he posted a Twitter tweet and he said this. He said, for anyone displaced from their homes right now, if I can help you in a short term with housing in Houston, Austin, Mobile, Savannah, Panama City, Dayton, Miami, Del Rey, St. Lucie, Sugar Land, Texas, Orlando, reach out to the link below. What a great guy. He's offering housing to people in need during the coronavirus. So you click on the link, and if you go to the site, he's just renting out his units in his apartment building. He's not giving anything away for free. And he mentioned something about the Fair Housing Act, and he can't give away properties for rent for free or for $0 because it's against the Fair Housing Act, which that's not true. You can, there's nothing against renting out properties for no money or delaying rent. The Fair Housing Act was enacted to help prevent discrimination. You can't discriminate against race, religion, things like that. It has nothing to do with not offering rent. So again, he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy for trying to rent out his apartments. He's not a bad guy for promoting his empty units, but that's also another issue, right? So if you invest in these apartment buildings and in times like this where there's all these vacancies, you can't rent out your properties, what's going to happen to the 6% target cash flow that you were supposed to be getting every single month through Cardone Capital? That's probably not going to happen because there's no rents coming in. He has to pay a distribution every single month, and he has debts on these properties that he also needs to pay. He has a mortgage, right? So these are not owned free and clear. So again, something to keep in mind if you're trying to invest in real estate and in something like this versus buying your own house. So again, guys, the purpose of this video is not to bash Grant Cardone. There's different ways you can invest in real estate. You can buy your own property. You can buy investment properties. You can slowly build your portfolio and end up being a multimillionaire and make a lot of money. Not to mention, there are tons of tax deductions if you own a property. And those include mortgage interest, property taxes, and homeowners insurance are all tax deductions. So that's a benefit to you. Whereas if you own a piece of an apartment building, you're not going to get those same deductions as you would as if you owned your own property. So again, not trying to bash that man. He's an amazing marketer. He's an amazing salesperson, super duper successful. But I did want to make this video and talk about that strategy, the Cardone Capital strategy versus buying your own house, and how I don't think it's a bad idea to buy your own house at all. I highly encourage it. You know, when you're renting, that money is paying someone else's mortgage. It's paying down someone else's debt, and they're making money off of you. And I don't think millennials don't care about owning anything. Again, I'm a millennial. We plan on buying our own house. I've owned property in the past, and all of our friends want to buy houses. So when you grow and you have kids and your family grows and you have dogs and you have cats and you have birds and whatever the hell animals or pets that you have, you need more space. You can't live in an apartment building forever. There's always going to be a need for apartments. Definitely. I do not disagree with that. I think investing in apartment buildings is also a great idea, but I believe in the slow and steady build of your real estate portfolio or your business for that matter. My partner and I, about 6 months ago, we finally were able to get out of debt. We started this real estate and mortgage company. We have a few employees. We were slowly building it. It was a rough first few years. We finally got out of our debt. We're profitable. We're making money. It was a slow build. And what we decided to do was get real slim with our expenses, right? We said, hey, we actually got rid of our $4,000 a month office on Sunset Boulevard in West Hollywood about at the end of November, right? And we went to a co-working space, which saved us a lot of money. That saved us about 80% on our expenses. So when times like this, tough times like this do come around, if you manage your finances in a way where you're keeping everything nice and tight, you're not 10xing everything, it's easy to maneuver, right? If your overhead is low, it's easy to maneuver and stay afloat during these tough times. Versus if you blow up your business, you hire 100 employees, you spend, thousands, 20, 10, 20, I don't know, depending on the business or whatever, spending 10x on your advertising and 10xing on everything. When tough times like this hit, you're going to have to lay off a bunch of your employees, which Grant had to do a couple weeks ago. He had to lay off about half of his employees. So again, not to bash him, but there's different ways that you can approach these, investing in real estate, growing your business. I just think a slow and steady build works. It works and allows you to stay lean and allows you to maneuver in tough times. So again, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a thumbs up if you did. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'm happy to make videos about what you guys care about. So anything mortgage or real estate related, leave a comment and I'll definitely think about making a video covering that topic. So again, hope you guys are well during this whole Corona craziness and are staying healthy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.